go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with a roll call. McKee here, Bodema,
Yep.
Behrenkamp,
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Perfect. And I think Counselor Schultz, I believe, is not going to be here tonight. Or if he is, might be a little late. So we will just jump into the work session topic, which is the city logo design and kind of where we are in the process, and got some options to look at, and then we'll kind of get walk through on what comes next after the discussion today. And so, Kathy.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilors. Kathy Hughes, Administrative Services Director. We were tasked to launch a city logo design project. We did this on Friday, October 20th. We used the online vendor 99 Designs. Currently, we have completed stage 1, which was launching the project. We are in stage 2 right now, which currently we went through as a city logo team. We have 2 members from each department in the city. I am facilitating the project, also participating. We have come up with a packet, and I numbered the pages 1 through 15. If you notice on page 1 through 4, you'll see a number in the left-hand corner. These represent the logo designs that staff chose that were highlighted. Nothing more than that. Again, it'll be city council's decision. What we're looking for today is to move 3 to 5 or however many you'd like forward to the next stage, which would be community input. That will take place over a series of days, and then we will message community's input once we decide on some finalists to move forward, and then present to council on November 9th for a final decision. So today we're looking for input on, do you see 3 to 5 or less or more logos that you would like to move forward for community input to move to a final round?
Perfect. Thank you. You can kind of start wherever. If there's anyone that has any designs that stand out to them or that they really love or hate, or somewhere in between.
And you can reference them by page number.
Perfect.
And then I'll just keep track.
I like page 2,
Page 2.
number 4.
Okay. Kind of the simplicity of it.
Yeah, I like the fact that they used the C
Mm-hmm.
and then had the willows in it. Yep. And the I like I guess I like the darker shades of color. That's just probably my personal preference, but I think it looks tougher.
Darker shades for the background or for the text?
Both the text. Like, for example, I wouldn't ever drive a light blue truck. I will have a dark blue truck.
Gotcha. So of the two variations on that one, do you have a preference on like this
I think
versus that?
I think they're both fine.
Okay.
I mean, even if we chose the blue one, it's not like you would paint your water tower blue and have the white letters. I would imagine we'd use the top one on a water tower.
Yeah, either that or like a rectangular square around it.
And we can also ask if you have like a minor change you'd like. We can implement that also.
Sounds good.
And then there are none for me that like stick out as being terrible. I don't know, maybe 12 has, I don't know what the big leaves are in there, but I wouldn't pick that one.
Page 12?
No, page 5, number 12.
Oh, okay.
And then I will say one thing, and then I'll let someone else talk. Are these ones with like the trees and stuff, are like on page 9? Aren't we trying to get away from intricate art?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what council had suggested, and we did message this to designers, but we also included some of them in the
Okay.
designs, just so you had, options and some variations.
Yeah, so even if we loved
Yeah.
that one, we would be probably not using it, I would imagine. Good job, team. These are all nice.
Thank you. Everybody did a lot on this, so it was fun.
Jeremy or Dean, any likes or dislikes?
I'll jump in.
Yeah, go for it.
I like the same, number 4, top one. Also on the last page, almost similar in page 16, the top one.
Yeah, I give you 16.
And the only difference I would
The
do.
very last one?
Yep. Last page, top one.
Gotcha.
I like all of the other ones with colors and such. I just, for what we're doing, what we want to do for number 1, a water tower, correct? And I'd hate to borrow from other water towers and stuff like that, but if you look at our neighboring city, their water tower is Maple Grove, 2 sides with the maple leaf. Doesn't say Maple Grove, Minnesota or anything. I would like on the water tower simple, we are Corcoran. And then maybe add those,
Cattails?
the cattails on top, one or the other, as that symbol that splits Corcoran and Corcoran, if you know what I'm saying. On the water tower, it would say Corcoran, and then there'd be cattails, and then Corcoran on the other side.
So you could kind of use like that logo, but tweak it for the water tower to just say Corcoran, and then taking that logo,
That
part of the top,
cattail.
cattail.
And then just
each
book
side.
in the name, and
Yeah.
then Corcoran on the other side if our water tower is gonna be 2-sided, if that makes sense. And again, we all know we're in Minnesota, we aren't Corcoran, California or anything like that. But using that without Minnesota is what I would love to see. And then for our symbols on the garments of Public Works, everybody, the coat, City of Corcoran with the cattails maybe, just something simple and clean. I like all of the colors. I like even if it's a first one where it says Corcoran, Minnesota, it's got the sunset, the green swash, and the blue swash. Even if that were that splitter between the 2 Corcorans on the water tower, it would be acceptable to me. But the other ones, I love them, but as John said, I thought we were trying to get away from the intricacies and just simplify and then save money with, we don't need to tell everybody we're in Minnesota. We know we're in Minnesota. That's my input.
Gotcha, appreciate it.
But very good and worth, I think, the money we've spent so far.
Absolutely.
Good job, you guys.
Jeremy?
I liked 7 a lot.
Page 7 or?
Page 7,
Okay.
because I like that there was a way to do it simply with the blue and white version, to do the outline for cases where we can't tolerate complexity, but on like websites and signs and things like that, where there's more resolution available, I feel like the others could be more attractive. And I think it's more similar to the existing logo, so it shows some continuity of vision to keep, the wetland and the home and the farm. So that was my favorite. I'm okay with page 2, I guess. I'm not a huge fan of incorporating the letter C into the logo, personally. It just seems a little too kitschy for me. If it was a filled circle, I would think it was better. I liked page 3 also, but it's just too different from our current vision. Like, it's attractive, I think it looks good, but I don't think it's close enough to our vision for the city with the larger buildings. I also liked number 8 on page 4. It was similar to 7, but a little simpler.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think I share a lot of the same likes that you guys have. Jeremy, you kind of got me thinking about that number, page 2, number 4. You know, how would that look if it was a filled-in circle as opposed to the C? If we do have the Corcoran right below it, do we need the C? Unless we think we'd be using that C with the cattails by itself in places.
I like the use of the C.
You do like the use of the C? I think I like both options there.
Even just for me, something like that, even if it's Corcoran with the cattails only without the C or the C.
Gotcha.
But just the gist is simplifying the water tower and stuff. I like it.
I won't fight about it.
Fair
Nope.
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Not the hill I die on.
No,
But yeah, I did like that one. I did kind of like, let's see here, some of the kind of various variations of like pages 14, 15, the sun and the green and
yeah,
blue, and there's one, I don't know if it's the one on 15, maybe you get rid of Minnesota, just have the Corcoran, and maybe you change the 2 different blues to different shades of green to kind of more represent like, you know, rolling field, as opposed to like the big lakes that we don't have.
Yep.
And maybe some cattails could be included in that design somewhere. Or like if it was doing a similar thing to the one at the bottom of page 14, where there's maybe some more space on the side that could be incorporated. Let's see. I also did like, I think Jeremy, you mentioned this, the one that was a little bit more complex, which I know is what we're not really going for. Although I do think it's less complex than our current logo. Again, maybe with some changes. I don't know if I love the, what is that, it's not a hexagon, it's a
Stop sign, octagon,
octagon. I don't know if I like that border necessarily.
hexagon.
Hexagon? Okay.
Yeah,
No
there's
worries.
six sides.
looks like a badge
It's a
almost.
honeycomb.
It is a honeycomb. But maybe changing the blue there to a different green and maybe some, you know, like showing it as a farm field, a cornfield or something.
We got that.
Then it does kind of incorporate.
Kind of like number 12, you mean? It's
Um,
almost the same but different.
Page 12?
Page 12, bottom right.
Yeah, there's less of the water in that one.
yeah, kind of like that. Although I do, the thing I like about it kind of is that it has both like some newer housing kind of represented, the farms represented, and kind of open space represented.
Where is that page?
Page 7, and then Dean was kind of comparing it to pages 12, 13 maybe.
It's got a silo on it.
It does have a silo on it.
Checks all the boxes green.
There's even cattails in the bottom of the hexagon.
Or,
Yep.
is that what they're supposed to be?
Well,
Yeah.
it's some kind of grass.
Yeah.
You could tweak the plan.
We can make them more cattail-y. But yeah, I think those are probably my handful of favorites. Now we could, what was the recommendation to maybe select 3 to 5? Okay.
3 would be ideal, I think, giving community members 3 is a,
Well, I think for sure it sounds like page 2 design, that's gonna be one of them, because it seems like everyone's
Accepting.
accepting of at least some of it. So I think that,
would you like it tweaked to close the C,
um,
or do you like the C?
John and I cancel out, so I think it's up to you guys to figure out your preference.
it's interesting because I think just off the bat, like the way Dean was talking about it, we might not even use it in this exact format. Because I kind of like what Dean was saying about how you could have it just say Corcoran and then use part of that logo as kind of the breaks, like the maple leaf is for the maple grove.
Just bang simple,
Yeah.
that's all I was doing.
So remove Minnesota, leave Corcoran, close up the C.
Maybe if we could see it both, the
Or-
updated version with the C and closed and with,
Or remove the C around the cat.
yeah. then that should be pretty easy for them to do
Oh, yeah.
with that. So maybe if we could see those variations of that one, and get feedback on that.
When we get all done out here, we aren't gonna get rid of very many cattails. Our wetlands are,
Correct.
True.
They'll be here for a long time.
yeah, will be.
And the designer of that started with the one on page 16, and we had the designer move the cattails down into.
I like that.
Yeah, I definitely like the updated one more than the initial one. But I can see where it came from, yeah.
Yeah. And page 7.
Yeah, page 7.
other
Yeah, I mean, I think that one would need some edits, but I know Jeremy said he liked it, and I do too if we'd made some edits, potentially getting rid of that water there and making it more into like a farm field. And then maybe making the grass more cattail specific.
So if you reference page 10, this is
Okay.
the same designer, and this was their first variation on page 7.
Mm-hmm.
We had them, they did multiple variations, but we had them shorten up, since there isn't the lake, we had them shorten it up to try to make more of a stream.
Gotcha.
And then page 12 even has a smaller piece of water. They added a bunch of other things, birds and fowls, but they took out the silo and just made housing with trees. and
Yeah, I kind of like the both the houses and the silo and the field aspect of having all three of those.
Got it? What about the water? What would you like for that?
I definitely like the idea of, if we're gonna keep it, having it be a more realistic body of water for Corcoran, like a stream.
Street?
Or even getting rid of all or most of it and turning that into like a field.
If you're looking at page 12, then would you want to have the cattails in the bottom of the symbol, like there was on page 7?
At page 12, yeah, potentially.
And remove Minnesota again?
I think so. I think we're
I'm
kind of
fine
all
with
on
Minnesota.
agreement that,
They gotta put a silo in there,
Yeah. If you're going to do 12, let's add a silo and the same farm.
same
field
farm from the other
7.
one.
I would say one of the only, there's a lot going on in there that I think the concern would be is that gonna get muddied again if you look at it from a distance?
Mhm.
And that was some of the concerns with the current one, is getting more crisp, clean lines. I think all of these are an improvement, but, you know, if you look at that one and you don't study it, you don't catch what it is.
That's true.
And I think it's better representative of our community, but it's also not the quickly identifiable thing that I think was some of the staff's feedback with the previous logo being hard to work with on letterhead or clothing or simple.
Yeah.
So then maybe we're better off focusing on something like that first one we kind of talked about that we do want included, that
no? 7?
page 2,
Page 2.
and then page 7, you said, John?
No, you and Jeremy both like page 7.
Yeah, we do, although I think with Matt's comments were that it maybe doesn't.
Well, I think he was talking about,
I was talking about 12. I think
Oh, okay.
7's more simple than 12. I think 7's a little bit easier, definitely better, an improvement over the other one, so. I
And
think-
my recommendation on page 7 was, if you like that, just shorten up that body of water, because we don't really have the body of water.
Yeah, shorten
Either
up.
just a little stream, or just make it all grasslands, and maybe incorporate a different green to make
Yeah.
it more realistic.
Yep.
This is a little cartoonish green. Get rid of Minnesota, make Corcoran either green or black letters, would be a recommendation, but
Yeah, I'd be open to either of those, and then
that'd
they'll,
be cattails.
yeah, cattails at the bottom instead of just kind of the grass, yeah.
I like
I
that.
agree with those.
Shows that it works in the two-tone.
Yeah.
Shows that it can be still identifiable from a quick glance.
Yeah. So with those edits, I would like to see that one
I would too.
for additional community feedback.
So I didn't mention 7, but I'm on board with that.
Okay, great.
I didn't mention it,
And then maybe the other one that stood out to me would be some variation, and I might have already touched on this, of like page 15, the top one. If we're looking for just a simple type logo, again, it would be changing the two blues for like different green, maybe. So it's kind of like a rolling hill. And then getting rid of Minnesota.
I think that's three good choices.
I don't like the wimpiness of those colors, but
Yeah, I think we'd change the colors. Definitely get rid of the blues and change it maybe to like a darker green and a couple shades of green, so it's not all like one.
Do you want the sun more of a yellow? This is a version of more of an orange. So this designer also designed page 4, page 6, page 11. They're like super dedicated. Page 14, 15, and the bottom one on 16. So this designer is, they said, I will change this, I will do whatever you want.
Gotcha.
They have made edit after edit and communicated very well.
I do like the one on the bottom of 11 and the one on 4.
Again, with some color tweaks potentially.
And the variation on 11 would be the
blues.
the one on page 4, if you just flip back. It just has white lines versus black lines.
Oh, I actually think I like the white lines better, but I would want to get rid of the blues. The blues on the bottom there.
where is this?
Bottom of page 11.
And you would like more greens, more like the rolling hills.
Yeah. And then also get rid of Minnesota.
So if you look on the last page, page 16, I feel like you have these memorized. There's your greens, that's the same designer.
Last
I feel like
page.
16.
Oh yeah. Yep, like, yeah, like
those would be
something
the greens
closer to that, I think. John, what do you think about the other?
with the
colors
white
there.
lines.
I don't see a silo in that one, and I'm missing that.
That is true.
That's it.
There are pine trees on 11.
Okay.
Yeah. I still think my favorite version of that is a tweaked top of 15. But that's just personal preference. Just with, I think, size and I don't know, the ones that are in the circle kind of seem like, I don't know why it doesn't seem to fit for me.
I agree with you on that design, that the top of 15 is the best. However, I would say there's nothing in here that distinguishes anything about Corcoran with that design.
Yeah. And that's what I'm wondering, if there's a way to try to incorporate, if we change those to greens, to darker greens, is there a way to, without muddling it up too much, incorporate a silo,
Could add a
Cattails.
silo to one side
Cattails.
and some flying ducks over the sun.
We had one variation, it was more like a pencil sketch. It was a duck, and it looked like a real duck. And all we could think of is if it was up on the water tower, somebody taking target practice at it. That's what it looked like.
that would not be good.
So, and it was just so detailed, it was not looking good.
Well, maybe then bottom of 14 variation has some more space, again, getting rid of that blue, but has some more space to incorporate a like farm, like a barn and a silo, and a house on like the opposite sides of the sun there. Or maybe like steps down from each other, like one on the first green, one on the second green.
Sounds kind of like you're describing 7 without the box around it.
That might be. Kind of.
We actually, if you took page 7, and we tried to get them to do this, but then they kept editing the inside, and we had to move on. We tried to get them to remove that bottom V and just keep the house up top, but make it a little different design, but they couldn't get that concept, so they stuck with this one.
Gotcha. Was that the second one we said we wanted to
Number
include
7.
with some edits?
Number 2.
So I guess
number
let's see
7.
what those look like then when they make those edits. And that gives us 2. We should probably at least pick one more.
So number 2,
Right.
number 7, you had mentioned,
I had 15 marked
page
as well.
15.
Oh, that's the one we were just talking about, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
And page 11.
Page 11.
11 was too complicated, I think. And I think it's
Not
pretty.
page 11.
Sorry, I'm looking at 13. I'm wrong. Yeah, bottom of 11.
You
With-
just wanted the greens more like the last page, but
And like adding a silo was the other point we talked about. And dropping Minnesota. If you drop Minnesota, you could maybe make it a little bit bigger and add the silo and maybe a house or something.
And Matt, is this the one you were talking about? Make it a little too complicated?
No,
Okay.
that was, I think, the one I was mentioning that got a little bit, when we started getting it was,
Was it 10?
maybe it was one of the box here ones.
Okay.
Um,
with page 12.
Yeah, so it was this is the one that I was saying from, like, if you glance at it from here, you see the Corcoran, but you don't know what the rest of the stuff is going on. I think we were looking for that quickly impactful and identifiable.
And Jeremy, which one were you just talking about?
11, bottom of 11
Bottom of 11. Okay,
for our third choice.
good deal. Then we're on different ones.
But that was the one where we talked about adding something that's more
Mhm.
emblematic of the city in the existing logo.
Yeah. I mean, maybe as a third with the edits of trying to incorporate some of the barn, silo, house, not necessarily all of these, but whatever they can come up with, and cattails. And getting rid of the water, changing it to more greens.
Then if I could ask for
Yeah.
one more version
Sure.
of all of these? Unless you guys don't want to see this, could we see Corcoran spelled with a capital C, lowercase O-R-C-O-R-A-N?
We had that version, and it didn't look good, to be honest.
That's what I'm looking for.
We had that first, and we actually changed them all to capital, and it
So
looked so much better, more professional.
Thank you. Would it look even a little bit better with a larger C on the start and keep everything else the same instead of all the same letters? Just, if you guys already looked at it, I'm trusting that. When I didn't wear my coat tonight. Did anybody get our Corcoran coat on? Is that the C bigger than the other letters?
Yes, actually.
And that's the only reason I'm saying it. That is our current logo. If it could be,
Not
there we
there.
go.
Well, it is bigger than the rest of the letters in the word. It's kind of like
You
a
have a
capital C.
C, have a mouth and teeth, and have it eat the other letters.
I'm
the
just
Halloween
saying,
logo.
off of that or that design and stuff, if whenever it's all done, if we could just get one version of the C being capitalized larger than the rest of the letters, if you know what I'm saying. Don't know why I want to see that, just asking. But
I'd be open to seeing it.
if you guys don't like it, I'm the only one, I don't care.
I'd be open to
Like one
seeing
of
it.
the versions like this one, like page
11.
11.
That seems to fit with that style.
Yeah.
I just asking for it,
Just make C big.
just to see bigger.
As like a variation that we'd want to look at. And I think that kind of gives us like 3.5
Yeah,
options there. That's probably if we're,
and we're still trying to do one with a silo in, so what,
yeah, we've been trying to incorporate
Okay.
a couple of the other ones.
it's okay.
Cattails, silo.
Great job, you guys. And the designers, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I think those are kind of our, does that make sense, Kathy? The 3.5 kind of that we went with there?
Yes.
How many more designs did you get?
Got it too.
Did you get like 500 designs? What did you get?
No, we started out real slow, ended up with probably 10 designs
Oh.
Then, each one did a few variations.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, yeah, I think it's a great start, and I think excited to see the few variations and edits, and then we'll work on getting it out to the community and get some feedback and make some last changes, and we'll have a logo.
If we have to extend any of the portions of the time within the design app, it would cost $60. Am I authorized to at least do that part if we have to? We're not gonna,
Yeah,
we're gonna try not to, but,
I would say if we
Can't
need
make
it,
an authorization at a work session.
oh, sorry.
yeah.
It's okay.
Maybe we could add it to,
Yeah.
If need.
yeah, because when would that?
One thing I learned, we thought this project would run Monday through Friday, we'd have all these extra days, but what has happened is it's a 24-hour cycle, so even Saturdays and Sundays, I've had to keep communicating with these folks, so we've kind of shortened up our timeline a little bit, but we're gonna
Oh,
really work
and
hard to
today's
make
the-
it work.
26, so that next step would start today?
Next step will start on Sunday. So now I'll go back and tweak, come up with some tweaks. What my recommendation is, we keep moving forward with the designers. We come up with the tweaks, we start the community input, and then after community input, if you want more changes made, you'll get these variations in November. We move forward with more of them. We can
Okay, so
do
maybe we come back on the
exactly- yeah.
9th with,
Correct.
if we need more
And they will
time.
tweak it all at the end too, and
Okay.
do more to it, and we'll just keep moving forward with
Perfect.
these edits too.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Kathy, you keep talking about community input. We're getting input off of our webpage, off of how are we getting input from? And
Yes.
how many people are part of that? If I can ask those numbers.
Yes, so what we've decided is we announced it a few weeks ago in our utility bill, and we sent a little flyer with.
Got it.
those. We put it in the newsletter that this is coming, please watch for it. We plan on putting it on the front sign of City Hall, making some
Perfect.
flyers, hand delivering them to our businesses anywhere we can, HOAs. And then there's going to be a Microsoft form created for our website, so people will be guided to that to vote
Beautiful.
or put input, and in City Hall lobby. And
Right.
then social media as we can, but we won't use like Facebook as a platform, being we didn't, have that great input last time.
I think if once we have
Come up with an idea.
the edited versions too, if we could maybe get that sent out to all of council, so when we're out talking to people, we can flash it up and get just kind of on the fly feedback.
We'll send you the flyer, so you're in the loop on that.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
For the
Great.
purpose of getting feedback from the public, I'm thinking, is it worth throwing in something that's just really different from the others? Just to see what people think about it. Like three was one, page 3. I like the graphic look of it. I just didn't think it necessarily fit. But it might be interesting to see what engagement we get on it.
Yeah. Do you have a?
I had the vision of number 3. You have the 3 pillars, the growth, the tree growth. You have a residential home door. You have a business window, or vice versa. I thought of that too, but not everybody on the team thought this was a great one. But I would like to have that.
Looks like
Outlier.
Kenwood to me.
Looks like what?
Kenwood in Minneapolis, my least favorite place. in
I love how this designer did all these different variations.
I mean, if you have to want
Show
to
us.
throw a curveball in there just to see what the feedback is, I don't know if that unnecessarily comes.
Yeah, I don't know that I would necessarily, if a lot of people came back and said they liked that one the best, I'd want to think about it some more. I don't necessarily know we're going to get that from people, but
Mhm.
it's also a good way to give people something to argue against. If they feel like it doesn't fit with the vision, they'll put that feedback into this one, and maybe we'll get clearer insights on the others.
Okay, so we maybe just want to include that one.
I would
As-
just want public input on one that none of us like.
With like a conversation starter on it to get feedback.
Like I said, I don't dislike it, I just feel like it's not similar enough to the existing one. Graphically, I think it looks really good.
I love what Kathy said about the 3 pillars, but to me, it looks too much like the state of Minnesota emblem.
Some said doctor's office logo or business
Oh, wow.
logo, a little bit.
You're not wrong.
That's all.
What's the state of Minnesota one?
The M and then the N and
You've seen it. It's on there, like, I don't know, it's probably in our packet somewhere for something. You've definitely seen it.
Dean will
Pull
find
it
it.
up. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's colors, but this one.
Yeah, the colors do kind of look like it. I'm fine not doing it. If people don't feel like it's worth getting the feedback, that's fine. I'm not gonna.
But where Kathy explained, homes, green space, maybe one with the center one being a silo, have to make John happy.
That's a thought. Change the form of that
Yeah,
one.
see, I just, I don't know why that sticks out, but
Well, the negative space, you've got the 3 blue pillars and that one. I could see that.
am I close? Or does it remind you, anybody else of it now that I say it?
Well, we could also tweak the
Colors,
colors and get rid of Minnesota in it. I think we've all agreed on. But yeah, if we maybe made some tweaks like that, it would
maybe
be
colors.
a fourth option that's a little bit different, but also isn't something we totally dislike with those changes. Kathy, did you and Michelle, did you understand what Dean was saying about some of those changes? So yeah, I'd like that one as a
A green, a yellow, and a blue with just Corcoran on it.
something like that. Yeah.
No
And-
tree.
Yellow,
Yeah, yellow might be a little much
Red.
for like a whole pillar.
IH
Maybe different
red,
shades of green and
Case red. No, John's not hearing it.
Make the right one red and make it a silo red.
yeah, something like that.
Harvester silo blue.
Keep the pillar shape though.
there you go.
You'd like to keep the pillar shape, the 3 lines. You don't
Yeah.
actually want like a silo added, just make it the color red. Okay.
And then that would
I
be
did
the
write down silo. Someone
That'd
said
give us
silo.
4
Okay.
choices.
See
What's
ya.
your way of
If they
it?
want
Feel
to
better.
have a
Homesick?
silo
Got
that's
it.
red, like
See you, man.
yeah.
See you, John.
Right?
Feel better. Say that again.
And then a couple shades of green on one.
And then those are our
And
4.
Or
and a
just
half.
choose a different color green. I think you guys have said that a couple of times.
So do you want
That-
the trees
The green just,
in the windows?
I think so, just that green, those greens aren't a deeper, richer green. I don't know.
Okay. And then a red on the right. Okay.
Different color than,
Yeah, just something a little
Yellow,
little
I guess.
bit different. And I don't know if there's some way to incorporate like more of a silo looking thing without actually making it a silo. Like instead of the windows on that right column, something that with the red or whatever would make it look more like a silo or a farm building of some sort.
Well, like the harvest store silos have like a gray bar
Mm-hmm.
spaced vertically as they go up.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And then it's like it's not a rounded top, it's like a
it's
a
flatter.
cone for the top.
That could be cool. I'd like to see that.
Add the delivery chute and everything to it.
Do you want to send that to Michelle and Kathy so that they kind of have a reference so they can explain it?
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, kind of the changes we've discussed, and I
Every
think those would
time
be
I
our
drive down my driveway.
our 4.
Makes you feel good.
Perfect. Anything else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Recording stopped.